mean? That was probably,
Tomorrow.
yeah, I mean, you're only a year, 2 years old.
I heard my grandparents.
Part of me kind of almost.
We got lucky. If the dam would have still been in, it would have been flooded. No problem. I mean, no questions asked.
Yeah, with the rain that we got to this time, if the dam would have been in.
Would have been, half a Marion would have been underwater.
You mean right in the corner there?
Yeah. You'd have had a hard time getting to the station.
I've seen a man that's outside our station close to probably that time of year before. Because we got, if you go to the old Franklin Market, it used to be Crystal Laundry.
When you say
I
Victoria,
think they said like 1 or 2 foot tile
yeah.
Yeah.
floated
Part, I know what's
all the way
What's going on
by the time the man
behind
was
I don't know.
No, I mean,
surprised we didn't have any training grounds.
We actually got lucky. I was out chasing that night. We were out. I was out. It stayed. It stayed just south of Fairmount. You got to Fairmount. It started looking rough area.
I figured it was a one train gunhouse.
They used to be around down there.
We blew it out and pulled right out of the ground.
We actually got quite
Where
lucky.
the machines and then the water would.
We were on the radio
They call
on
it-
off channel.
Yeah. Drains were, well, second main. That one.
All right, we're on. Okay. We're talking, let's gavel. All right, let's call to order the City of Jonesboro City Council for April 8th, 2025. Let's have a roll call, please.
Rex. Here. Clayton.
Here.
Gerald. And Greg.
Here.
All right, we're going to rise. I'll lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance, then Reverend Ken will lead us in a prayer. So please rise and move all hats. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bow your heads, please. Gracious Father, we come before you tonight, thanking you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the sunshine, the warmth that it brings, the promise of spring. Thank you for your presence here this evening in this meeting. We lift up the City Council meeting as they make decisions and look to the future. We pray your blessing on each and every person here, whether they're elected or whether they're a citizen. Father, we pray you watch over us, keep us safe. We pray for those who are facing very difficult times. Lord, we think of those who have suffered from the flooding and the storms, not only here, but in other parts of the country. Many folks have lost property and damage, and we pray your hand upon them, that they would be able to be restored. And we commit all this to you in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you very much.
My schedule's different now.
Before we go any further, if some of you guys aren't here, I'd like to introduce our new attorney, Joseph Musser. He's of the law firm of Spitzer, Harriman, I can't even read, Stevenson, Holderhead, Connor, and Persinger. So, welcome Joe. He's got a lot of knowledge about Jonesboro. He's worked for the city of Jonesboro before. And we got him, he was with our previous attorney, Mike. He was with their firm, so we thought it was a logical move that we retain that expertise. And I think we're gonna get along just fine. I told him you guys were all easy people to get along with. We will go from there.
No, that was the Board of Works. We're a different. Heck of fish.
Yeah, you're a different breed.
Welcome. We're different.
But, welcome. Okay, let's go ahead and number 6, the approval of minutes of March 25th.
Just want to point out that the last meeting was one of the best ran meetings we've ever had. And she tried to give you credit for it, so other than that, I'll make a motion that we approve it and we fix that part.
I'll make the motion, we accept the minutes as there is.
I made the motion.
Greg made a motion. Rex, you mean you second?
All right, there's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Andrea. Aye. Rex.
Aye.
Clayton.
Aye.
Gerald. And Greg.
Aye.
Number 7, public hearing.
Oh.
That's not supposed to be in there, is it? That's what I thought. I thought maybe you guys, see, it wasn't well read. from
Hey,
last
we just
week.
did, we did a lot of stuff.
We took care of it.
Yeah.
We'll go there. New business. You got anything today?
I don't know where to put it, but I met with the pastor from River Church who wants to be involved, kind of understood more of what they mean. They're not necessarily looking for land or location, but they have a lot of people that come from this area and they want to look for volunteer opportunities and a chance to connect with the community. I recommended that they help out with the city cleanup day, because he's like, what they have is manpower, but they also kind of want to have some face-to-face interactions. So I said, we can talk to them maybe, if we, especially if we advertise it, if they can get a couple people with pickup trucks, maybe go around and ask people if they want anything brought, or if we need manpower at the dumpsters or anything. That might be a chance for them to connect. And he asked for other future contacts. They're just trying to build contacts. So Quentin, if you don't mind, I'd like to give him your number. I said you probably have an idea of where to put manpower the best, if there's opportunities or anything. So he might reach out to you if that's okay.
Last year, they worked with us and painted one of the pavilions down there. Actually, did both of them down there. They did a great job. They had like 14 people, so
Right.
they can make an impact, so.
Well, and Clayton saved the rest of, I mean, about the, Cardinal Greenway, your suggestion regarding that.
They didn't seem as excited about that.
But do you know what? Pastor Noel contacted me
Yeah,
after he had his meeting with you and talked about how well that it went.
yeah.
That's one thing that they're committed to as well, which we told the lady that was here
Oh,
last.
good. Well, I'd given up and figured I'd have to find another solution for
Oh,
Cardinal
no.
Greenway, so I'm really happy
They
they
were
said that.
receptive of that.
Excellent.
So that's encouraging, as well as, to piggyback on what Clayton was saying, just because I do go to church there, but I'm not a member, I go when I go. And, but they reached out, separate from that, to get involved in the community, like Clayton said. So just recently, they're gleaning contacts and to give back, like he said, and not to repeat what you're saying. But the thing that I'm impressed with is they have a resource that we can draw from. So it's not specifically going to church per se, you know, but having, and they're solid, like they're already like vetted, and we don't have to do that piece of it, which is a win-win for us.
He said 75 people is trivial.
Yeah.
He said if we need a job that needs 75
Yeah.
to 100 volunteers, that's their alley.
And it's not just,
Cleanup day.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not just.
exactly. That's why I said
Yes.
get a
It's not
bunch.
just two people.
Can
or
they pick
whatever.
up cars and move them out people's yards?
Yeah. With 75 maybe.
Yeah.
So I did reach out to, she told me to call her Susie, not Mrs. Presswood, who came to our meeting to ask for the water for the Cardinal Greenway. And she was very thankful that we even listened and gave her some encouragement. And wrote me a handwritten letter and mailed it to the school, which I was that was very kind. But, she is very happy that, you know, that we found some resources for her. So that was a good takeaway as well.
And we have some things we're working on the water down there,
Yeah.
not saying we're gonna get it.
Well, I wasn't, yeah,
But the professional Bob McNutt came up and told me there's a way
Oh.
on that side.
okay,
So
okay.
we'll be working with her on that
Right.
again.
So all of that collectively with Clayton's, you know, input and working with them to connect with different people, not who I think is best, but people who I know, hey, who do we go to for this, and who do we go to that? I'd get their permission and give them the name and be like, you need to check them out. So that's encouraging,
Yes.
very encouraging.
Any other new business from the board?
Hey, just the cleanup day, since we got that area cleaned up towards the back.
And it's not clean, but yeah, it's getting there.
So one of the biggest issues last year was people trying to dump and then backing up and trying to get back out. I think we could almost connect them and have them go all the way around that area. I know there's one low place that we could put a little bit of gravel in maybe, but if we could line those dumpsters up and then have them go around and then come out by the barn and either go to the right to go out or to the left to dump some of that wood, it may help the flow a little bit. I know we had several people trying to back up and they were getting in the way.
You talking about going around all the way back where they just cut all the trees and all
Yeah,
that?
isn't there a path through there?
Yes, there is. It'd have to be cleaned.
Okay.
Because there's
It's
still
it's
a
thought.
lot
It
of
may
the
flow a
pallets
little
back
bit better.
there
Something to think about.
and a lot of screen waste stuff right there by that trailer. We'd have to make sure it was, and then when they go out, they're gonna have to stay on the west side of that pole barn because of us burning all that brush at the same time. We wouldn't be able to have them going between the fire truck and the fire.
Okay.
So they'd have to stay on that west side.
I don't know, it's just a thought.
Yes.
Somebody might wanna, you know, if you laid those dumpsters out just right, it may help the flow a little bit. Okay.
So,
You can look at it.
yeah, we need to promote that a little bit more. You got it out there, the word's out there, but we need to do it again.
We need to think about how many dumpsters you wanna get this year too, cause we need to give them probably a month and a half notice to get them saved.
I talked to him, he lives around here, and I talked to him last Wednesday. He's also gonna have a steel metal one for steel and stuff like that for throwaway.
Maybe not so high.
Maybe not so hard this time.
That was tough.
It was, but I'll write that down, lower dumpster for Greg.
Sorry, I don't think Greg
Oh,
can
for
be here.
great.
Stack some of the pallets up for him.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Uh,
All right,
uh,
anything else from the board?
Yeah, just a brief area plan commission update. We're losing some members, some slots haven't been filled. Dr. Bothwell, just resigned his position. Sweeter's position hasn't been filled, and I believe the commissioners are also looking for a citizen appointee. I think they have to be from the unincorporated area, but if you have friends or family that might be interested, maybe talk to the commissioners or area plan commission. And the big news is that the city of Upland has just officially voted to create their own plan commission. So they are currently off-boarding of the county system. So that's gonna be a transition. We don't fully know what that looks like, so. Also, thank you. I believe the APC took down 3 structures in Jonesboro in this past month, is my understanding.
They have.
Yes.
So very thankful for that.
Right.
Back on track.
Question, is Dr. Bothwell's a school board appointee?
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
so,
not
Doctor-
school board, but
well, yeah,
superintendent.
so Dr. Dana Richmond was the Upland appointee.
Okay.
She, because Dr. Bothwell left, she has stayed on the board now as the superintendent appointee. The superintendent's appointed her,
Who is it?
Dr. Dana Richmond,
She's from our community?
she's from Upland.
No, I'll talk to you later, 'cause I'm
Okay.
kinda confused, I thought the school board appointed,
The school, well, no, it's not school, it's all the superintendents of all the
oh,
county
just,
schools.
it's just like,
It's
where
the,
it-
I believe every
Yeah.
superintendent gets a vote for whomever they want
Okay.
to represent them, is my understanding.
I have a question, Clayton.
Mhm.
Was there, I don't wanna know personal reasons, but like, was there a specific reason why like Dr. Bothwell left? And, I mean, like, was it something within the council or?
It's been a difficult several
Okay,
years.
that's what I would ask.
And he's been there probably.
He's also served a long time.
About 15, 16 years, he's probably been up there. And he, last I talked to him, for his age and all the troubles, been up there, he says, it's been enough headache, it's time for me to move on.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
anything else, new business? Okay, let's move along to old business. We have down here State Road 22 and Water Street. What it is, I was gone, did you guys bring up something about that you wanna talk about?
That was making the right hand turn.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
we.
Yeah, we wanted it on the agenda, or we discussed it, because we floated it out there, but we need to figure out what exactly the next steps are. It's my understanding that we've reached out to the state, they said they support basically whatever we need to do, we just need to draft a resolution. So we need to decide what we want in that resolution, so we can tell Brittany to draft it and then pass it, right? Is that the next step, Brittany, basically?
I've never done that before,
Yeah.
so I'm not.
Is that good?
So we would just need to apply for a permit for construction within the state right of way for that improvement. That would be the city's next step if you wanted us to so choose to do that.
Apply for construction?
It would be a permit for an improvement permit within the state right away.
Improvement within the state right away.
Yeah.
And the way I took it for that, Brad, is we come up with what idea we think and
Exactly.
give it to them.
Yeah. So, there, we discussed the possibility of a median. I don't know that we need or love that. But, do we wanna do this? What exact laws do we want? Do we want it to be right turn only, coming from the south and from the north?
I think you got to.
Because there's a lot of wrecks up there, Quentin will tell you.
And we want a sign, we want road paint, we want,
You'll have to do both, wouldn't you?
My question, you guys, and Brad, would be, with the bridge being replaced, would we be throwing money away if they're going to,
that's not till like 2029, he
I
said.
know.
That's a long time. And if we just do a sign and road paint, I don't think that's hardly any money,
okay,
right? And, I know maybe why we felt like we had to talk about it. Don't we have to amend our traffic ordinance? Does that happen before or after we talk to the state?
I think it would happen after
After.
we.
Okay,
Before you get turned on.
so amend ordinance.
So you can't, so you're gonna come to 15 and turn to go again.
So-
You can't shoot straight across.
Can you help Brittany find where to apply to that, or someone?
There's people who are still gonna try to shoot across.
Brittany, do you know how to apply for an improvement within the state right? No, I didn't think so.
So we can take care of that.
Okay.
With the drawings.
Thank you, I'm sorry, thank
That's
you.
okay.
We're learning.
Thanks, Brad, buddy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Brad, just out of curiosity, because I know that is considered a state intersection. So once we change that traffic pattern, does that all become ours? Are we gonna have to replace the stop signs? Are we gonna have to keep the paint up? Are we gonna have to do all that? Or is that state will take that over once it's done?
George, would you, I believe, so
Like
the
right now, if
sign.
that stop sign goes down, that's a state
Yeah, well, I
highway
think,
stop sign.
I think we would maintain the signs. I mean, if we're just doing, I mean, there was several different options. There was, as to the extreme of putting up a large barrier.
Yeah, I was
and they
gonna,
had
well, I was
talked
gonna
about-
speak on that, but.
Yeah, I mean, there's different options that we can go with, but it could be as easy as just putting a sign up and some paint, or we could do just a small raised median that would somewhat deter traffic. or
Like
you
a
could-
speed bump.
Right, or you could do the barrier, which.
My only thing with a barrier as an emergency personnel person, you gotta remember, you got Mill Township Fire there, us here. We had a house fire just over 22 2 years ago. So now we gotta go all the way around 15 and around to get to there. We just can't go across if you put a barrier there.
Yeah,
If you have signs and signage and painting, an emergency vehicle can still get across there. So I think signs and paint would be better for us,
yeah,
but are you still gonna have people trying to go through?
And I don't think that we wanna prevent people from turning off of
Right,
22
that's-
onto
yeah.
water. That's not the,
Right.
that's not the problem. It's crossing all 4 lanes that's dangerous.
Right.
Now, you could turn onto water from either side, just not across.
yeah.
But how are you gonna do that? I mean, telling one set of people they can turn, another set they can't, that's gonna be hard to put
Yeah.
signage down.
Yeah,
right turn only,
Yeah, that's part of it.
Right.
For going out, but she's saying you can still turn onto water off of 22.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can't not do that.
That's the way, that's pretty standard. I mean, in downtown Marion, you've got, like, you have right turn lanes all the time, but you can turn onto the other street. I mean, it's, or like in Gas City, over the railroad tracks, it's a stop sign one way and not a stop sign the other because you might be turning left. So I don't think we, I mean, I like the idea of a speed bump if people don't listen, but we can see if the sign and the paint deters sufficiently, and then we don't have to do more. Don't,
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we're gonna apply first and then amend the ordinance, correct?
please. Should we vote on that?
And that's on state approval. They would
Yeah.
have to approve everything that we're
contingent
designing.
upon the approval from the
Right.
state.
Apply right away since it's getting, weather's getting better, so you help us? Got it.
We should probably tie it into the paving project also, right? Good time to do some of that maybe.
Yeah,
Get that done before River Rally.
I mean, if we wanna do some striping, then yes,
I'm just saying.
we can add that.
Thank you.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Because we get so many semis coming down Water Street, do you think that will help deter the semis coming down through there?
No.
I think the semis have slowed down other than the local
No,
ones
they
doing.
haven't.
They haven't?
We had a
No,
full,
we had one stuck on our block just last
Really?
weekend, yeah.
had one come through today, a full semi-trailer, everything heading south.
They're turning off 26 and coming down and not.
Now, this one is actually going the other way, believe it or
Well,
not.
I got a suggestion, we need to put the sign back up, because somebody ran over it.
Where
There
at?
at 600, they ran over the sign that says no
Oh, yeah,
trucks.
they did.
Yeah.
And that was just on a barricade.
Can't you create or make a sign,
Yeah,
have one made, put it on a post?
Right, well, here's the problem, and I spoke about this before, 600 South is not our area. The county would have to put it up. Well, the county don't want them running 600 because that's their road, they're wanting them to stay on 26. That's why they've got weight limits on 600. So once they get past 600, if we put it at our city limit sign,
Right.
now they don't have nowhere to turn around because they're already all the way up to the school.
Yep.
That's the biggest problem out there.
we gotta come up with something if it's that bad. I
The
thought.
county will let us put up a sign. They're not gonna let us put up a sign that says 600 is the truck route
Yeah.
because it's got weight limits. We can only put a truck sign that says no trucks allowed.
I think we
But
should make.
once
Don
they get
Gilbert's
there,
house
they
the
don't have
truck
nowhere
route.
to go.
Don Gilbert's house should be the turnaround.
If they wouldn't have closed off the greenway back here, we could've done that, right?
Who would have done that?
Ooh.
Well, it's something we need to look into quick, we need to talk about.
I can talk to Dave, see if he's got any suggestions.
Okay.
Are we making a motion on the applying?
Do we need a motion? I mean,
motion to apply.
I don't feel like we need a motion. Can, please?
Do we need a motion?
I think please. Nice. Well, I don't think we can yet.
Not until we have it, and then you do the first reading.
I don't think we can.
We don't, we're all right.
I just gotta make a left on the tank, go down the main, make another left, go left, and go back up that way.
Just to let you know, I have procured some, under new business, some flower pots from Gas City. They're gray, they're about this tall and around, they're on Main Street. So we're gonna be putting, they're getting rid of them and they're perfect shape. So if anybody wants a flower pot in their town, this town, they're about this tall and about this big around, and they're really nice. So I'm gonna have the guys put some on Main Street up here. Maybe ideas where you want some, because we got somebody that'll water those for us, so.
That's why I said.
Okay, great. Yeah, Greg, you got something on new business you wanna bring up tonight?
I do. No, old business. I thought we were at old
We're in
business.
old business, I'm sorry.
Just the Easter bunny is coming to town on the 19th, 1 to 3, up at the gazebo. I'll be sending out another reach alert thing next week, but we got bags of Easter eggs and candy for the kids. There'll be fire truck rides. The steak place, I can't never think of the name of them.
Texas Roadhouse?
Texas Roadhouse representatives will be here passing out little coloring things for the kids and free kids coupons, so it'll be a nice little gathering. So join us, please.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, the cameras in the park, where are we at?
Waiting on Gas City, we gotta just get with the water, we couldn't get in there right now, it's too muddy.
We gotta get this done, guys. This has been a long time. We need to get it done.
I don't know where Jim's at with cameras, you'd have to ask him on that.
He was
He
waiting
has
on you.
everything, he's
Okay.
waiting on the trench.
All it is just trenching now, once they think they can get their machine in there. They're not gonna come over and get their machine stuff, I mean,
Well, and I understand that, but I
When you're
mean,
depend-
we just had rain last week. We've been looking at this for a year. We
Well,
need to get it done.
we tried to
Sorry.
do it at Christmas and they wouldn't come, they were busy.
Then
That's the
then I
only
think
problem
we
with-
need to rent one from.
Right, well,
Gilbert.
that's what I'm saying, that's the only
Yeah.
problem with depending on someone else, you can't tell them to come over here.
Yeah.
Well, I think, before I went on vacation, I think we discussed that we have to get something done. So as soon as it gets dry, we're gonna, either we borrow that or we're gonna rent one.
One thing I didn't, just because this come up, I just thought about it, I forgot to bring it up. We did work on the bucket truck a little bit today. Don Gilbert come over. We're ordering a brand new master cylinder. We think it may have went bad. We put fluid in it, we checked all the lines, we done everything. We can't get any breaks. So we're thinking the master cylinder itself went out, and we was able to find one for that truck. So we're getting one ordered. So if that gets back up, that'll help us too. Because once we get these trenched, say we trenched them today, Jim can't put the cameras up. We don't have no way to get up the poles. So he's wanting them at right at 10 foot, so kids can't reach them as easy with rocks and everything. And hopefully being a camera, it's going to deter them anyway. But even if we had everything trenched around, we have no way of putting the cameras up.
We could rent another piece of equipment if we had to. It's been long enough, let's get it done. Sorry, but
That's totally up to you guys. You guys run the money.
then I don't think it's a problem as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what everybody else thinks,
I
but
agree.
it's done.
Yeah. I heard you. Well, I'm clear. Something-
Have you guys looked into getting a trenching bucket for the backhoe?
No, we don't have, no, we're not, we can't, that equipment wouldn't work. It's too old. All right.
Mayor, I do have a question regarding the park since you brought that up. Well, I was asked today by Carrie Wordinger at Westview. That's why I was late, my apologies, my schedule's a little different right now. She asked what the tape at the park was for, the yellow, I assumed it was because of flooding, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's what, I thought that's what it was. So she asked what it was about.
It could be down tomorrow if it doesn't rain.
Oh, no, it was fine, they were just wanting to know.
Right.
Does she,
Hey, Bob.
does she have a retailer?
Probably not, I'll
Get all
yeah,
that.
okay, I'll tell her.
We wanna tell them about what the Twin City Garden Club doing.
Yeah, you wanna explain that to everybody?
My wife's on the Twin City Garden Club that used to be called the Gas City Garden Club. They meet at my church last weekend, week built from next last Monday. On the weekend, my sister-in-law called my wife. Somebody on the garden club that used to be a state officer said there was a grant out there they're applying for. It's for $200. They're gonna take $100 and plant a tree over Gas City, and they're gonna plant one in Jonesboro. And I talked to Bob, and Greg was here, and I told Greg to stay. Sounds like it's gonna be a dogwood tree if they get it, and we decided to go down by the cabin somewhere.
That's okay with you, and you're.
That'd be fine.
Got taken out, you know, somewhere in that area, not real close.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Where was you looking at, Greg?
Where we took those other trees down last year, maybe a little ways towards the cabin from them.
How big of a tree is it? Will it be, I
I
guess?
don't know if they're gonna spend $100, whatever $100.
They don't get that big,
No.
they're kind of bushy.
I'm just thinking, remember where the cameras are gonna be, that's why we had to cut all that out, so that line of sight all the way over to the community building's clear. 'Cause it's gotta go from the fire station all the way to the community building, keep that
Yeah.
line of sight open.
Yeah, it's not like a regular tree, it's more bushy
Small- a bushy
type,
tree.
yeah.
Yeah, just say small.
Maybe 12, 13 foot tall.
Put the cameras at 15 feet.
I'm telling you.
Anybody else got anything? If not, we're gonna move along. Let's go ahead and move along. I think we have some guests here that want to discuss. Greg, do you want to lead us in that?
That was for the next meeting.
That's for
Oh, you didn't want to talk, okay, good, I'm sorry. We'll move along then. Nothing else? Anybody? So. So if not, we'll just go ahead and go to reports. Board of Public Works and Safety, you want to speak real quick, sir?
Good evening. The update on the new water plant project, the tanks were set last week. Artesian was in, they set the tanks, and they've filled the tanks with the media, the filter media, so that's done. Next step, I'm not sure that they're in this week, but I was assured that next week they will be back in to finish the masonry wall on the north side, and then they're gonna set the trusses and get the building enclosed.
Yay.
So that's,
Then we turn
It
it
looks
on.
great.
then you can turn it on, yeah. Yeah.
Whatever happens, I forgot to tell you, I want that plaque off the old building.
Absolutely.
Because I need to
Yep.
put it up here for for history of Jonesboro. So
Sure will.
it's got some names on there that some of us all are associated with, so. Anybody got any other questions for Bradley?
So there's going to be some softening agents in
Yeah, so as you may known or not known, the last plant had softening way back in the day, but that was cut off. So the new plant does have filtration and softening vessels. So, and just so you guys know, and you may or may not know this, but they don't soften to zero softening typically. I mean, a lot of times when you buy a softener, you turn it way down, but usually it's about 7 grains, I think, is where they kind of leave it. So, I mean, if you have a softener, it would enhance the softening, I guess, or ease the need for softening, but nonetheless, you will have softening. So.
Yeah.
So, how long do you estimate that new water will take to get throughout the system? I need to replace a shower head.
I mean, typically, the tower cycles, I wish I would have had the water guy here. I mean, I would think week, 2 weeks, you should have everything. That would, yeah.
I think that's about how long it took the phosphate to get.
Yeah.
Where we was getting good readings every
Right,
day.
about 2 weeks, so. Yeah, I mean, it's great, so.
Clayton, you got something?
Yeah, did you get my email with the headmaster contact to try to get in the building for like whatever you need?
I did.
Great.
I'm scheduling that for next week. so,
Excellent,
yep.
great. And the land is parceled. It's basically just ready to be signed over to us. Amy Miller did say there's like a 30-day waiting period thing at the state. We have to wait to be done, so it has to be done after April 16th or something. But basically after April 16th, the headmaster said, he's ready to sign. So that's what I was going to speak to with our attorney, Mr. Musser. You could get the transfer document together to transfer the land. That would be helpful. I was told a quit claim deed is not allowed. Amy Miller, our grant writer, can give you more information if you need more information, I think. But, yeah, okay, I'll try to get her connected with you.
Okay. Did you send him some stuff when you?
No, because by the time I got the email, I was like, I'll just talk to him here, but I'll send you an email and get you connected with her, if that's okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Brett.
Now, when's the bids going out?
So
for the JC night?
So we had it scheduled May the 13th would be the next council meeting, but I guess in May be the 27th, I guess I need to coordinate that. We haven't advertised it for bid yet, but it'd be within the next 30 days to go out to bid.
Yeah, and I'm okay with May 13th, just to get everything, let the dust settle for the transfer of property. It might be simpler, but.
Okay, thank you, Bradley.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have anything tonight other than, I did mention the pots for the flower pots and everything. Clerk treasurer, Britt, any fiscal requests?
No, the only thing I have is I emailed the Gateway report, our annual report to everyone. I hope you got the email, I've been sending it to your city and a personal.
Yeah.
So all I need is an approval and then kind of sign on the bottom where there's a little bit of space, just so I can document that you all are good with it.
So everybody did get the correct email address?
I've got it memorized, yes.
Got it.
Sign at the bottom on the first page.
Yeah,
Do we need a motion?
preferably, yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call please.
Andrea? Aye. Rex? Clayton?
Aye.
Gerald?
Aye.
And Grant?
Aye.
Anything else?
No.
All right. This is where I get a turn to you and say, do you have anything, Mr. Musser?
I still have no legal issues to address.
You will, if you're working here, you will. I'm just glad you're here. Special committees, we're gonna bypass that and go to approval of claims. Get you general fund for the city of Jonesboro for April 8th in the amount of $42,417.14.
I'll move we approve the claims.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, a second, roll call, please.
Andrea? Aye. Rex?
Aye.
Clayton?
Aye.
Gerald?
Aye.
And Greg?
All right. Public comments or questions, if you have any, please come to the microphone, state your name and your address. If not, we'll move on. Anybody got anything? Council comments or questions?
I'd like to say something. On the 25th of March, I went down to the State House for the 50-year gold card for the IVFA. And the governor's wife was there. She gave a talk about her fire in Jasper in the 90s. We usually don't see the governor's wife. The new governor started talking, and he said, "Hey, you guys give your survey." 5 years ago, the IVFA did a survey, well, the volunteers saved the state of Indiana, and that was $4.5 billion annually. And our lobbyist said, he's now our vice president too, said, "Yeah, well, now you're the governor and I'm gonna re-hand it to you." In the meantime, he kept talking, and he said, "I know we don't do much." And Larry said, "I'm not done yet." We updated that. Today, the volunteers of Indiana save $6.1 billion at 20% of the. So he said us to come up with some ideas. By Tuesday, by Friday, we was all called to be on Zoom meeting. On a Sunday, we approved to spend $2,000 more back to the people that did our survey. They should have that in their hands by now, and they're going to take it straight into the governor's office. They didn't wait around because this is the spending year and say, "You want it, now here's your information you wanted," to see if we can get stuff to help the volunteers of the state of Indiana. And I recommend everybody call your state rep and senator and tell them you heard that the volunteers and what are they gonna do for us, because I can tell you now, if you look at the Hoosier Lotto, says we give the fire departments. No, they don't. They give to the full-time. And over the years, the full-timers got lotto money and it got put back, and now if they have anybody die as a cancer patient, they have a death benefit. Lotto money helped pay for their pension, but the volunteers get nothing. And it's time the IVFA's asking the citizen of Indiana to help us to speak up and say, we want something. You owe us something. You owe the volunteers some stuff. Because they save you money. That 20% of your budget down there.
Well said, well said. All right. Any council comments, any more comments from the council? If not, we'll move on to adjournment and we'll reconvene. You guys reconvene as the redevelopment committee, so adjournment's in order.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay. It's all yours now. I'm out.
All right, we good? Ready? Need a break? Okay. I'd like to call this session for the Redevelopment Commission of City of Jonesboro, Indiana, April 8th, 2025, to order. You want to do a roll call, please, Brittany?
Andrea? Here. Rex?
Here.
Clayton?
Here.
Gerald? And Greg?
Here.
All right, I think there's a typo in the agenda, but we have minutes for the March 11th, 2025 meeting to approve.
It's good.
Better minutes than any of us made.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
this redevelopment.
I'll second.
Motion second. Roll call when you're ready, Brittany.
Andrea,
Abstain.
Rex,
Yeah.
Clayton,
Yes.
Gerald, and Greg.
All right, old business. We have some guests here tonight, I believe, to talk about the Veterans Memorial. Greg, you wanna?
We have the Rices.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Rice.
Jerry.
Thanks for joining.
We have Rusty, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Chad, okay.
Rusty and Chad and the Rices. Okay, so I don't really have an agenda for this necessarily, but it's my understanding that Rices, you're the neighbors, is that correct to that? The Legion wants to give it back to Jonesboro so that Jonesboro can take care of it. The Redevelopment Commission is trying to get land in the hands of citizens that we don't necessarily have specific uses for, and it sounds like you guys are willing to keep that for a time. So the goal of this session for the Redevelopment Commission is to figure out what exactly we want to do with the land, if we want to have an agreement with the Rices for a couple years to maintain it and then sign it over to him, or if we want to keep it, or if there's any specific parts we want to move. And the Legion also wanted to speak into that, so, yeah, if you.
I've got a question before you really get started. Are you planning on the city of Jonesboro, are you planning on moving that memorial?
At some point, we think we will, yes.
Pardon?
Yes, we think we will at some point. That's what I stated in the meeting when I came over there
Okay.
with you guys.
Have you thought about where you're gonna move it at?
Been some discussions, and that's why we kind of talked about maybe a timeline with these guys to give us some time to get it moved. Our first step was basically to get with the Rices and have them agree to take that over for a certain time period. That's kind of what we're discussing, and then as I discussed in your meeting, you know, we definitely want your guys' input as far as what we move, where it gets moved to, and want you to be a part of that, yes. I know we originally talked out here. There's been some talk about the other part. There's been some talk about over by the gazebo also. So yes, we would like to get it moved from that area. There's no parking. Very few people go down there at this point. It does need some repair on some of the stuff. So we definitely want to move it at some point. We don't know where and we don't know when yet.
So I guess we talk about the memorial. The memorial is the land, is it the plaque, is it the flags? Part of me, I kind of want to get a list of, in your heart, your priority of because I don't know that will there be anywhere else to have all of the flags. Do you want one flag? Do you want 3 flags? Do you want the plaque? Do you want benches? If we, in my mind, my vote is kind of where the benches are now, further north on Main Street. I think that would be a nice place to have the Veterans Memorial. It's right there on Main Street. People can park nearby. But what is it that is most critical to move, and what kind of order of priority? I'm not super familiar with what's there now and what.
The memorial was built, the land was gave to the American Legion through the city of Jonesboro. Okay? For us to build a memorial down there, and that's what they done. And what our overall objective was to, as you can see up there, if you've been up there, we sell bricks just like you sell bricks out here, okay? But it got started and then it just stopped, okay? And the gentleman that was taking care of it, he got ill and moved on because of his health. And then it got passed on down to whoever would maintain it, okay? But it's a Veterans Memorial for the city of Jonesboro, okay? It ain't only for the American Legion, okay? It's actually for the city of Jonesboro, right? Yes, the Legion is the one that took the initiative steps and got it going and built it and started maintaining it. But I wasn't a whole lot in on all that, okay? I came in on the tail end of it. I helped on it some, but as far as I know, there's no paperwork that ever been drawn up on who's responsible for what on that memorial, okay? That's why Spike was telling everybody that that memorial was made for the city of Jonesboro. And Jonesboro was supposed to be the one that was maintaining it. That's what I was told. I wasn't in all this, okay? But I would like to see it continue, okay? But to maintain that like it is, the purpose was to sell bricks for our veterans and have them put them in there, have them put in by the city of Jonesboro or the American Legion. But one thing we was having problems was, we couldn't find anyone to actually etch into those bricks that would stay.
Yep.
As you can see, a lot of them's in very bad condition over there.
That's my primary concern, is that it sounds great to, you know, it would be an awful lot of work to move the bricks, and there aren't, at least according to Greg, it doesn't look like there are many names that are even very readable. I just don't think it's wise to try and maintain that and move that part over. I think having a Veterans Memorial is appropriate, and
I agree.
But that specific instance with the bricks and all the flagpoles, I don't know that we have room for all of it. So, and that's on a hill, like Greg said, there's no parking. In its current state, it just doesn't make much sense, particularly if there's a landowning neighbor that in the long run can take it over. So if we can have a Veterans Memorial somewhere else that's simpler for the city to maintain, that has maybe less of a footprint, that people can see easier, I think that would hopefully make everybody happy.
And we wanna make you guys happy.
Yeah.
That's why we wanted you guys involved. We didn't wanna feel like we just gonna rip it apart and run.
Well, wasn't sure what y'all was gonna do.
I thought I made myself clear in the meeting, you didn't.
Also, if you look down on those flagpoles,
Yeah.
okay, those flagpoles was donated by different organizations, okay? One of them was donated, I was hoping Steve Sweatman was there tonight, but he came over and talked to me today about what was going on down there. But each flagpole has got a plaque on it,
Okay, I missed
who
that.
it was donated by,
Okay.
okay? And 313's got one out of Fairmount, the Legion Riders got one, the Legion's got one, the Suns has got one, the Ladies Auxiliary got one, okay? They all got plaques on them down there, who they belong to, okay? And that's who bought those flagpoles.
So they get first dibs on it if we.
Well, but it ain't so much of a bid, dibs on them. We'd like to have them all, if we're gonna make another memorial, them all put back together the same.
I like the flags, I like the semicircle that they're in, I think that looks nice, and I would like to see if we could do that, honestly,
Now,
but there's concrete on them, and I don't know how you're gonna get them out.
what Steve told me today, well, we need to do first is see if we can crack that concrete around the top.
Okay.
But he said they will set in a sleeve.
Oh,
That
okay,
is concreted into the ground,
okay,
okay? But those poles itself is not actually concreted in. It's set in a sleeve.
okay.
So that sleeve comes up and then.
That helps
They
a
will
lot.
put concrete around the
Yeah,
top
she'll
to
be
make it
able
look
to, she'll be able
like.
to take back to it there and pick them up.
That's the understanding I'm getting.
Yep,
It's just
okay, then that's
PVC pipe
different.
and
You know,
they slide down the
Jerry,
pipe.
They were in sleeves,
Yeah.
but there was concrete poured over top.
I take it off it because
You might be able to get it all the way then.
Jerry was there, probably was there from the from the start of it, so,
When were these bricks and flagpoles donated, do you know?
pardon?
When were these donated? 10 years ago, 30 years ago? Do you know?
I think probably.
Ballpark?
10 years ago?
12, 10.
Yeah.
It wasn't 50 years ago, it was recent.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it
it
was
was,
last
yeah,
10 years.
Okay.
yeah, it,
Yeah, we
I don't
had,
know, I ain't been down there very long.
yeah.
And secondly, the sign that's down there, what's the game plan for the sign down there?
We haven't talked that far.
That's what I'm
You got
asking
that
you.
far? Okay.
I'm trying to get a list of what's even there that's yours and you want to have somewhere. So there's a sign.
Well, if you guys wanna use that sign.
Yeah.
Right, and
I mean, there might be something else you wanna come up with.
So,
think,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
this is, I'm just trying to speak things out loud so we
Right,
can
sure.
talk about it.
Be
I'm not,
transparent, yeah.
Oh, I'll,
in my mind, I think the bricks are kind of a lost cause, unfortunately. I'm willing, I think it makes sense to try to make the flags work, especially if they're in sleeves. I don't know if they can all go in the same place. Maybe the one from the Legion, maybe one goes in front of City Hall, maybe one goes to, maybe if we can get as many as we can, wherever the new one would be, that would be great.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
That hill over there behind the
Yes.
gazebo,
Yes.
that would be a perfect place for them flags.
Me and Greg talked about that
And, I
today.
mean, I don't know what that hill's designed for, but I mean, I'm pretty sure we could get all
Yeah,
them flags on that hill.
okay.
And, getting them poles out down there, that's not gonna be a problem one way or the other.
Okay. So, sounds like definitely keep the flags.
Yes.
And, am I hearing strong resistance from someone about the bricks?
well, I mean, if we don't wanna do the bricks,
If we can read the bricks,
I like to,
Maybe contact the people
well,
at least.
that or, if I go to, next time I go down there and see, if I can get the bricks out that we can read, we got a flower pot thing right over here in front of the Legion.
Yeah,
I can put them in that.
that would be great.
I mean, that way, they're still there to Legion.
Right.
Yes.
But, like I said, if we could get all them flags on that hill, I mean, that would,
the idea.
I think that'd be beautiful
it
for
would be
the,
beautiful over there.
yeah,
Flags
We also have, may I?
yes.
We also
please.
have some ground where JC Knight is, and we're gonna have a large lot over there too, if we want to do something else with those
Yeah,
guys.
but it has to be completely green for 5 years in order to
I
maintain.
don't think flags or bricks would be considered,
He said it has to be a green, flat lot when
Too
he
far
came to
away.
check.
but me and Greg had discussed that, Chad.
Well,
That's a very
like I
good
said,
deal.
I don't know what else we can do with that hill.
Yeah.
Other than put flags on top of it. I mean, could you
I'd like
still
to see
gonna
the,
have
I'd like to see
to
the soldier on top, the
Yeah.
flags behind it a little bit.
Well, I mean,
I'd like to hear from Andrea Sexton, please.
Thanks. So that's a great idea, the flags. Think about, I mean, for what, okay, so if we think about, the memorial and what it means, to all of us collectively, how classy that is, just flags. Sometimes as you come in and we have the gazebo and you have it looks like something's happening, what's going on here? You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
inviting, it's, it opens things up, it's life, it's history and life. At the same time, even like this gentleman said, a few of the bricks that are that you can read, or maybe even some of them that are faded, gleaning a few of those to put, randomly places, or a few places, kind of connects it all, the then and now, but still flows and looks nice and classy. I think that's a great, and even if, whether it's on that hill or where the benches are, as you're coming in, over there behind that, it just like spreads it, it propels it, you know what I mean? So I think that's a great idea, and it would look so nice. Whether it's the flags with a few bricks, people who know what that means and what it's about, that means a lot. And they're like, oh, look, I think that's a great idea.
So, what we've discussed on the list is ideally move the soldier and the flags.
There's a bench there also,
How,
small bench.
was that donated? Does that have a plaque on it?
And
The
the
bench,
soldier and that plaque that's sitting down there would have to come over.
Yeah.
here.
Does the bench have a plaque on it?
There's
Was
a
that
small
donated?
bench out front, right? I
I don't
believe.
think it's got a plaque on it.
Okay.
It's just to go down there and sit and reminisce.
So we can do whatever we need to with the bench, so.
And then over by the Givo, Bob, you might wanna answer this for me. Isn't that rock, didn't we donate that rock and the flagpole there to veterans?
Yeah, that's a.
Over here, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna make
But I like the idea of the flags in that.
Yeah.
It looks so
Yeah.
cool.
So bench is okay to remove, do whatever. The brick structure will remove from the ground, but any readable ones the Legion can keep. Jonesboro will try to take the soldier and the flags and put them somewhere to have a small veterans memorial either in the gazebo or in the bench area. So that's that part of the discussion. So now I want to turn to the Rices. What kind of, and we can talk about what kind of timeline we're looking at, what's your hope or plan or vision for the land, what's our plan or hope for the vision for the land. You have anything to share?
I mean, I just use it for yard, and that's all I would use it for.
Yeah, yeah. And you're okay maintaining it as it is for a couple years?
Yeah,
Okay,
done it before.
yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Now, if you're not gonna keep that memorial down there, what's gonna happen with that shed that's down there?
You guys gave me the key.
The shed's probably gonna
Cause you
get,
said you was gonna use it.
It'd be right behind the building here. We'd probably.
if we could move it, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
We would love.
Well, Jerry wants to get it moved because he wants to get his fence panel.
Yeah.
Right.
We actually, that shed's actually on his property.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can discuss the shed. It's not a big issue for me.
I just,
If you guys need storage, which of course you got that back, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, and I'd like to get this thing signed over to Jerry if that's what the group wants to do. And we got a couple years and there's a couple stipulations in there because the Greenway wants to be able to park when they have their spooktacular, what's it called?
Screenway.
Screenway, whatever.
that's big.
And in the meantime, I assume you guys will continue to, once a year you have a gathering down there, are you gonna continue to do that until it's moved? Rusty, Chad?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so, you know, they'll wanna do that, but other than that, if you guys are ready to move, what do we decide, 2 years to give us time?
Yeah.
But we would like to work with you guys on where we move it and how we set it up. We don't wanna just take it over, we want your guys' input, and that's why I came to your guys' meeting, to make sure you understood that. Okay.
One thing I
We
thought,
appreciate
Greg,
that.
you guys said something about our soldiers down there or something, couldn't that be put right there?
Could.
By the rock?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So, I think we've accomplished the goals I set, at least talking this through, and I really appreciate everybody coming and sharing what's important to them. Now, the thing is just to get this done and signed over, so we need to decide on the specifics of what the contract, because I don't want to sit on this thing
Right.
and then, you know, the board changes or the Legion changes or he moves or anything, you know, I want this taken care of before we have to talk about it all again, so.
Right.
Well, I think we as the commission need to decide, you know, are we signing it over now? If so, how long do we expect him to keep it up, giving us our timeline of when to move things over so that Brittany and our attorney can draft up something to sign. It doesn't have to, you know, be airtight. We're not gonna go to the Supreme Court with it, but just so that
Or not?
everybody, I don't intend to. You can have another president do that if you want to. So that we can get this passed in the May meeting.
May I throw something at you?
Yeah, please do.
We can't just give them the land at the end of the contract. It has to be, the city can't give away the land at the end, so we may have to do some.
I thought the redevelopment commission could.
You can do whatever you want with it, but you can't give
You can't
it.
give it away.
You can't give it away.
$1.
So you can get it for $1 probably.
I'm not sure what, we'll have to talk about that with the.
think it's fair market.
Okay, well,
So we'll have to follow up with that.
Yeah, but sign an agreement for 2 years to maintain the land with the purpose of receiving the land.
Right.
well, yeah. I'm not signing anything if we
Compensation
can't.
due to the fact that he's
You're not signing anything?
If we
maintaining the
can,
land.
yeah,
Isn't there a monetary value of him maintaining
yeah,
the land?
that's what I was thinking, an in-kind, it's an
In lieu
in-kind.
I'll have to find, yeah.
Yeah, and then kind.
That's what I was thinking, you know, we value this at,
So, but you guys are talking about waiting to give him the land until the 2 years. I thought we would sign it over to him immediately.
that's what I'd like to. And
And
then,
then gives us time to get everything and work with the Legion to get everything moved and get a plan together.
well,
Are you guys okay with that?
Bob's saying you can't do that, that's what
Yeah.
he's saying.
No,
I
I
don't-
know, we gotta check it out.
Yeah.
well,
Can
it,
the lawyer check out and get back with us and let us know what our rights?
what my point is, if we were to give it away in return for, on behalf of Jonesboro, maintaining this as it is for up to a certain amount, and that has a monetary value, that'd be,
Right,
if he was doing that for a political campaign, that's what I know about, that'd be an in-kind donation, and get in trouble if we didn't report it. So surely, we can count that as a redevelopment commission, but it's just a matter of doing things right, but.
And so you guys know up front, there is gonna be a cost to do this and transfer the property and all that. And I don't know what that cost is, and our new attorney can, do some homework and get that back to you guys so you know in advance.
There,
Okay.
it's usually not that much.
Right.
Well, I've transferred property a couple times and it's not that bad usually. As long as we don't have to have a new survey done, that's the thing
Right.
that's really expensive. Right,
What's our timeframe of,
that's what I'm hoping to talk
Yeah.
about. We discussed 2 years, we discussed 3 years. Part of it will determine what kind of value, I mean, if we can figure out the market value of maintaining it, we probably need to figure out what it assesses for, and that'll help determine, because like, we can't give it to them for less than market
Right.
value. So, we should
But
probably,
what I'm asking is, what's our timeframe in getting everything arranged and getting things moved to the new location?
Well, we originally talked 5 years, but I don't think we wanna do
I
that,
think that's
so.
too long.
I think
Way
two
too long.
two
Yeah.
years is too long. I think we need to get on this project, get you guys involved, and get it
Get it
out.
moving.
Yeah, because the end result of what we're trying to accomplish is expedient, better
Yeah,
than just.
because if, like, I believe was what Clayton said, we sit on something too long, then it just seems like more you wait, nothing gets done.
That's right.
yeah.
So, I feel like, since somebody mentioned, give no more than 2 years and it's gotta be done.
Well, and also take into consideration what we're trying to do in other areas, which is part of getting this moving, to open that up for something else, and for you guys, open up, that land to be, I mean, that's movement, that's expansion.
And 2 years would be the cap. 2 years is the point at which that, whatever's on that land becomes his. And he can do with it whatever he wants.
I'd like to see it done this summer
We can get
myself.
that over.
Like I said, I'll go down there and check on them flagpoles and.
But this is great, if we can start trying to write something up. Maybe May was ambitious to have something written up, but I would like to get it signed over to the Rices in a couple months.
And we'll continue talking to them, let them know where we're at, and like I said,
I like it.
as long as it's Greenway could park there during that one weekend, and they can continue until we get everything moved, continue to come down that one time a year, was that Memorial?
Yeah, Memorial Day.
Yeah. Then, we'll have our attorney do all his homework and we'll get back to you, okay?
Thank you all.
Is there a power pole there that needs to be moved for the carnival anyway?
I don't think so, no, they got power on the other side, they got moved last year, I believe.
There's power and water down there.
There is power and water there, but it won't have to be moved.
Okay.
Are there any more comments about that portion before we move on? Excellent. Thank you, guys.
John.
Any other old business? Last time, we discussed when library appointments are. Do we know when that is? If we can look that up.
Our last appointment was done by me and my administration for the last one was my next door neighbor. Or was it your wife?
No, Conrad,
No, I think it might have been.
Conrad's.
No, she was
Conrad's
still-
wife was the last one.
Yeah, my wife.
So the mayor makes the appointment, not the board? Huh.
That's a good question.
I thought the city council made the appointment.
I I've never been
I've
involved.
never, you know what, I have to look that up.
Well, clearly the city council didn't, but I thought they were supposed to.
Well, there,
But-
if it is, it's gonna be your call.
Okay.
'Cause I will,
Yeah,
I'll
I
find
think
out.
I think it's every 2 years, Bob,
Yeah.
they've changed.
yeah.
They
So,
got to-
I just wanna get that back on the docket because, you know, again, even if it's in 5 or 10 years, you know, we have to figure out someone somewhere, whether it's the library board, redevelopment, city council, mayor, someone needs to decide what the long-term future of the library is. Because the current librarian is at about retirement age. And, you know, even if she's there for another 10 years, who's gonna take over in 10 years, or what's that building gonna be in 10 years? What does that look like? And, yeah, it's a riverfront district now. I think there's options, but, any other old business? Any new business? Maybe it's old business, but I wanna get the electronic sign. Bob's been on us to spend money for a year and a half, and we'll throw him a bone. Let's get an electronic sign, cause if we wanna market stuff. Oh, you're getting quotes?
yeah.
Okay, great.
With Houston Signs, which
Houston
is the
Signs.
same one who did the one at RJB up on the hill. Stephen and I did that, I paid that bill. I know.
Okay.
So at last meeting, I asked Greg about specs, cause
Yeah, what size, and
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
we need to
So-
discuss it with the group.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what size are we looking at? I don't know sign sizes, so you're gonna
Yeah.
have to inform me on this. Quentin, do you know how big that sign is
The one you
now?
got out there in front now is 8 foot by 4.
The thing you gotta also talk to, because there's new rules, and he can tell you, area plan, there's certain sizes that you can have,
Believe me.
height that you can have.
Yeah,
Believe me,
you
I
gotta
know.
go
So-
for area plan because
I know the
I
last
remember-
rule we got at the fire department, they even changed it can't be a moving sign because it distracts drivers. It can flash a sign and hold it there, but it can't be moving.
right, so
And there's
these,
certain
Houston
setbacks
Signs,
and,
okay, so the one that the school just did at RJB like a year or two ago, they take that's what they do, that's their niche, kind of. So, all of that's kind of included in the quote, and they inform us, so, but he's like, how big do you want it, you know? Which is why I said, Greg, I need to know.
4x8, they said, somebody said.
That's what the
Yeah, I
wiring
heard
is
it
out
down.
here right now.
No, believe me, I know, I'm this close to voting to make Rex our new Jonesboro Area Plan Commission.
no, don't do that. No, don't do that, Clayton, come on now.
I know. Yeah, we need to get that, brightness is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think sign-wise will be okay, especially the way we're zoned. I believe this area is zoned as business, and so that you're able to do more, but brightness. But assuming the area plan allows it, do we want it raised, or do we want it on the ground? Do we like 4x8? Do you want something bigger?
Well, I think it's gonna depend on the price, but I say we start at 4x8 and see where they're at.
And see where they're at.
You don't want it on the ground because the
Yeah.
snowplow pushed snow into it, like they did ours.
Jason,
Okay,
You don't want, yeah, you gotta have it raised.
Yeah.
I have a question for Jason. What is your size of your sign at Center Township?
You don't, your sign, that sign won't fit out here.
Won't fit out here. I didn't know what size that was.
Due to the setbacks and stuff, it wouldn't,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
it wouldn't
I just
fit.
wanted to make sure.
so do you think you can get a quote for a raised 4x8 electronic sign
Yes.
for next meeting?
Yes.
Great. And then maybe if they have slightly bigger sizes.
Yeah, so
if
they
got
usually
6 by
do
12,
3, they
yeah.
usually do 3 sizes, 3 designs,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah, that'd be great. Cause we talked about advertising stuff, and that would just be
Yeah.
a good, and, you know, as we're talking about citywide cleanup, I'd love to see if we start using, even if it's just putting stuff on telephone poles or something, as people come into town and various places, we've gotta start marketing stuff better. I mean, we put stuff on Facebook, but I think if, maybe partner with Circle K, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe we've tried, but I would just love to see this stuff posted in physical places around the city.
I can tell you Circle K will not let you post anything in their store except for back by the bathrooms on a small bulletin board.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
corporate, not
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Corporate won't let
That
you.
Gives you bathroom material to read.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, and they stopped all
Well,
public
they won't
bathrooms.
take that alley from us, so maybe we should just put a big ugly sign right there by their entrance.
Well, I'm not happy with Circle K. Most of them's been up there
Their ice machine.
for 3 months, it's been broke, they keep saying they need a crane.
It's like
There's a
McDonald's,
crane
can't get
company
ice cream.
just out
It's
east,
coming in, there's no
on
ice.
east side of Gas City. So, you don't wanna go up there and get no soda, no ice.
Okay, all right, so, we can think about that. Any other new business?
No.
I need our TIF report approved.
Okay.
There's no money. We haven't started getting anything yet, but I do need an approval because I need to submit it by April 15th.
Okay.
We gotta sign it off.
No, I just
Need a
look
motion?
it over, tell me you approve, and then I'll
000.
sign it.
That's
approve.
easy to do the math on. So is there a motion to approve it? Was that your
I
motion?
don't need a motion.
Oh, okay, you don't need a motion, okay. We approve?
Clayton, maybe really quick, because I know we're already. I agree with the marketing piece of what you're saying, 100%. I almost think that maybe if we did not specific, like specific, this is what's happening today, we could use like the sign and the other tools that we have for that. But just like the making people inquisitive and kind of like look for it, like, look what's happening in Joe, or, you know, great things are coming, or, and people are like, what? And then they'll say like, oh, did you see the flag? Did you see they moved that, oh, look, you guys now have the house, people own it. You know, things like that, that make people want to come and look. And as they see things grow, like expand when you're coming down Main Street, that, I think that's gonna be big.
While we're talking about different things, Bob, you might wanna answer this way. Who put the business in Peace and Plumbing?
But the what?
I went over and met the young man. I'm gonna have a little
His name's Cameron George.
Cameron George, he was down there on the river in Gas City. He moved into the Peace and Plenty. He's doing
What is it
small
called?
ATV.
Scooters or something? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little ribbon cutting ceremony. I'm gonna get the flower pots in front of his business first. But,
Scooters or bikes or what is it?
it's just ATVs, little all-terrain
Okay.
vehicles.
Because last week I
What's his
drove
own?
by there and they was out,
What's
and
his
they
own?
had the garage door open.
It's the old piece of.
But is it like
Right.
business,
They
general
opened up,
business?
you know.
That'd be
He
maybe
bought it
two
outright,
things.
so it's on the tax rolls again.
Okay.
Maybe you should start selling like kayaks or something for our river.
Yeah.
There you go.
He does it as an auto shop
Maybe that was
though, so
someone
we
interested.
need to double check.
Yeah, kayaks versus riverfront.
Exactly what that's on.
I
Well, yeah, you need to double check that.
Lost control.
Do we normally do public comments at redevelopment?
No, but you can.
Are there any further public comments before we close this meeting? Please come to the podium if you have something to ask or share. If not, any other comments from the commission members? Thank you all, excellent, thank you, Gerald.
Thanks, everybody.
I'll talk about that, because I can look it up tomorrow, but
What do you want to yell at me about?
Wouldn't I, Rusty? Rusty used to be our neighbor.
I
He
really
used to
want
live
to
right beside
I
me.
do, I was.
You talk about.
That was Kevin.
I'm not doing
Joe Musser,
anything
what's
to
your
you.
name? Trade off.
No, I think it's true.
How many,